Hi. So, I'm basically defending ZZ this video. Yeah, just before we start, a bit about me, why I probably have credibility to talk about this. I'm just sub 11 with ZZ, which is relatively fast for someone using the method. And yeah, I've been using it for just over 3 years now. And I use EO Cross, which is the best variant for ZZ, almost, I'd say. So, for ZZ there are 2 events where it's definitely the best. OH without table, with table, Rue's better, like it's sad but true. And then feet, ZZ's almost certainly the best method, unless someone comes up with like a feet specific method. So now, there's an equation which is quite simple. So, let me move this back. So, time is equal to TPS times turns over TPS. So, if you want to get faster, reduce that. So, reduce that or increase that. If you do one of those, you will get faster. If you do both, you'll get faster even more. So, we're going to start off by looking at the number of turns used in a solve, because that's a lot more easy to measure. So I'm going to start with the 3 good ZZ beginnings, I guess. So there's EO cross, XEO cross, and XEO line. So these, I'll go through where I get the numbers from in a second, but these are 9, 12 and 13. So where do I get these numbers? So EO line is average is 7. Solving 2 more edge pieces, you can influence them, so it's about 2 more moves. Let's go to these XEO anything. So I was talking with a good factor solver. He's been sub 10 before, don't know what he averages now. But we agreed on 9 being a good average for 2x2 EO 2x2x2, because he says human optimal for standard 2x2x2, so the one done in Petrus, is about 5.5, and to add EO would take a few more moves, so 3.5. It's good. And yeah, and then for XEO line, oh well, they're the wrong round, that should be a 12. Yeah, so for XEO line, you're solving 1 more edge piece. So if you're saying 3 more moves for 1 piece, that's quite a lot. But I think that's fair. So if we underestimated for XEO, not overestimated for EO 2x2x2, we've basically compensated for that in that. And then 13, so 4 extra moves for 2 more pieces, which is about right. And to be honest, I think that this can definitely be planned in an inspection about 98% of the time, because I've been working on EO 2x2x2, and even though I'm bad, it gets easy, well not easy, but easier quickly. And then doing that is just practice. And to be honest, I'd say this 75% of the time, this one you don't get that. And if you just get a terrible case, go with EO cross. So now we're going to move on to F12. It's about 7.5 moves per pair. I think it's actually 8, but but you can influence that to about 7.5, and even then you can do tricks to get it down to 7 with CFOP or ZZ. So let's just do, oh actually I've gone on too quickly. I'll stick with ZZ to start off with. 2 F2L pairs equals 14. We'll use the same numbers for CFOP, so if one's out, they'll both be out. And then 3, therefore, equals 21. That's for if you get E across. So up to F12 minus 1, we've got the best ZZ being 27 moves, and the worst ZZ being 30 moves. Okay, so they're decent, I think. Wait, can I math? Yeah, I can, phew. So yeah, I've got that. Now we're going to go into CFOP F12 minus 1. So you've got X cross, essential, should be done every time. I think that 9, 8, 9, somewhere around there is good. So we'll use 9. We'll use 8.5 because I'm feeling nice. So 8.5 for X cross, number of moves, and then 2 pairs is again 14 because multi-slotting, keyhole, etc, etc. So for CFOP, that's, what's that, 22.5. That's quite fair. I don't think many people would disagree on that one. They might disagree with that, but I think that's quite solid, and I've given good reasons to why that is a good target and is better. One thing to note, if you do XEO line, so you've got a pair plus a block on R to solve, it's still going to be as efficient as XEO cross for the F12, because even though you're solving one more pair, you're block building, so you're undoubtedly going to save a move doing that. So you've actually got 27, 30, and I'll write them in line with that. So you've got 30, 27, and saving one move, 26. Now going on to last slot, last layer. This is where ZZ is definitely better than CFOP. So with ZZ you have insert and ZBL. That's, if we're going to use 7 again just to be consistent, it's going to be 7 plus 15 plus 1.5 for AUFs. That equals 23.5. That's true. You can argue with that, but unless you want to say that that's 8, it's also going to be 8 for CFOP. And we've already used 7 across the board. So I think it's going to be, I don't think anyone's going to disagree with that. And then let's go with CFOP. 7 moves plus, according to the source I'm using, it is about 23 moves for OLR PLR plus 23 plus 2.25 because you have 3 sets of AUF instead of 2, so 32.25, yeah, 32.25. So you save 9 moves there for a sacrifice of 3.5 moves. So overall, you're saving about 5.5 moves over a ZZ solve instead of CFOP. Let's total them up properly. So let's use the 27 figure. 27 plus 23.5 equals 50.5, and then 32.25 plus 22.5 equals, if I can do maths, 54.75. So you save 4.25 moves doing ZZ. So that means if you use ZZ with XEO cross and ZVLL, you'll be decreasing that turns, and if you have equal TPS, that means your time's higher. That's logic and makes sense, etc. So now, let's move on to TPS, because it's a lot harder to quantify the best human TPS for a step, because you just can't, basically. So, in terms of TPS, X EO cross is definitely worse than X cross. Well, it's not by a lot, but it is definitely worse because you're having to plan and remember more on inspection, so it's harder to automate it, I guess. So as that's better than that, I'm not sure by how much, but it is certainly better. And then F2L, I'm going to do this. ZZ F2L is definitely better than CFOP F2L. Okay, so people will be very surprised at why I said that, but I've got good reasons. So, firstly, ZZ F2L is rotationless. I know that's not a massive thing. I know it's not going to do a lot, but it means that it's more efficient in execution turn metric, because in CFOP you have about 2 rotations per solve, but it's also more finger trick friendly. So you might think, whoa, RU, LU switching, etc. Well, you only have one LU pair, and in CFOP you can get that too. Like, it's just a fact of life, and people deal with it fine. It's not bad, it's just queuing. And honestly, if you're really good, you should be ambidextrous, and that shouldn't affect anything. And once you solve that one pair, it's all RU for the rest of F2L, which is a lot better than rotations, F moves, etc. Well, some F moves, like if you're doing something like that, that's better, undoubtedly, than that. You also have, keyhole is easier to recognise and do. Simon said that in his video, and it's just generally better. And if you really don't like LU moves, let's do a quick scramble. That's terrible. If you really don't like LU moves, like this pair back here, I don't have to do that, then insert with the LU. I can do everything right-handed, just insert left-handed. So if you really wanted to, you could have maximum 2 L moves during F2L because of that quality. Okay, so yeah, I don't get why. I get it with Earline, because RUL block building isn't great. Definitely isn't great. It can be good in very few circumstances, but the majority of the time it's not. But with X cross, ZZF12 is definitely better than CFOP F12. So we've now established, hopefully, that ZZ is more efficient, and the main step in F2L is faster by not a lot, but enough. Probably faster by the same amount that X cross is faster than X hero cross. Then you go to the last layer. To be honest, TPS over last layer should be pretty much equal, because with CFOP you're having 2 recognition steps, but they're easier to recognise, and with ZZ you only have 1 recognition step, but it's harder, and then both times you have ELGs, which are really good, especially OLL and quite a few ZBLLs. Like you have the soons, the comms, and things like that. So where am I? Oh yeah, so in Kian's video about ZZ and Roo, he said that ZBLL is around 2 seconds. I would disagree with him on that, because he says himself that 50% of the time you could recognise for him CMLL, but CXLL in last slot, two-handed. Like, I commented on his video and that's what he replied with. So if you can recognise COLL from last slot, and then you know at least 2 angles of ZBLL recognition, you only need to look at 2 edges. Well, AUF, look at 2 edges, and ALG. And the chance of AUF are halved if you do that. So you're, well, for recognition AUF. So you're reducing AUF and time. So if you've spent the time to draw the ZBL ALGs to all sub 1.4, preferably sub 1.2, then you should be able to do ZBLL sub 2 if you're good, and if you put the work in. But I think that's definitely possible. Also, like, you get the easy winter variations show up more often. So like this one where you've got headlights there, just RE to R prime insert, or this one. Some people don't like it, I like it. It's just L prime insert L, and it gives you a PLL, which is definitely the best set of ZBLL. What else have I not mentioned? Oh yeah, one advantage that CFOP does have is that it's a lot easier to influence the last layer. So in ZZ you have U2 insert or normal insert. With CFOP you can do sledge, you can do M prime insert, blah blah blah, all these things, which are better, but they still don't compensate for the brilliantness of ZBLL. That was fancy. So now we've compared ZZ and CFOP. We've established that ZZ is more efficient by 4.25 moves, and now we can tell that they're pretty much equal TPS on average about. So yeah, you also solve more with one ALG, and I'd also argue that ZBLL recognition time is less than OLL plus PLL recognition time, because if you got really good at it, so predicted at least OCLL in last slot, and then you've got 5 stickers to look at to recognise a case if you learn them all, and I think that's pretty fast. Oh, can be anyway. So now on to the future of the methods. Did I finish that section? I can't remember. So basically I'm saying that ZZ has fewer turns, higher TPS, equal TPS. If turns is lower and TPS is constant, what's faster? ZZ. Oh wow, there you go. Is that enough numbers to show that ZZ's better? I hope so, because it certainly is for me, and it's quite convincing. Anyway, so on to the future of these methods. CFOP, I guess the thing of the future is one look last layer. Once one look last layer becomes a thing, ZZ is kind of defunct, but no one's learnt one look last layer. No one look last layer. But then there's a thing you can do with ZZ which is quite cool. So if you've heard of it, there's a method called 42, and what it is, it conjugates a corner. It's for Roo, conjugates a corner. You recognise a case, then you do a CML ALG, which solves 4 corners relative to this one corner, solve the one corner, and then you're done. So here, looks like a complete mess. Got that orientated corner there. You just do an R. I don't know the case, but just because I set it up, I know it. Then you recognise the case, you do the alg, so in this case antecede, undo the conjugation, then solve the corners. And you solve 5 corners. Well, you can use that to your advantage. So if you solve this block let's do a scramble. So if you solve the back block here, and then you conjugate that, if you use ZBLL plus 1 edge, so corners, so COLL, but with last 5 edges per unit instead of last 4 edges, you get, according to my probably wrong calculations, 2,760 cases, which is over 1,000 less than one last layer. So in the time it takes you to learn the extra 1,000 algorithms, you could be drilling the recognition, drilling the algs, and learning how this works. But what you can do is you can conjugate that, recognise the corner case according to the 42 method, so the conjugated CXLL, and then you also have to recognise an edge cycle of 5 edges. So I don't know what it is here, but you'd recognise the corners, then you'd be like, oh, this edge, actually no, you want to solve the edge right there, which is the orange one. So it'd be that one goes there, and then you track it through. I don't know how it would work, but it is a possibility of a thing that's still a concept, probably as auto recognition, but it's a concept. There's also a new method which has nothing released about it yet, but it's called What is Easy. I'll go through the name in a second, but what you do is you solve EO2 by 2 by 2. This is going to be horrible because I'm bad, but who cares? Okay, that was terrible. EO2 by 2 by 2, and then you solve square there, pair there, so you've got F12 minus 3. Then you solve the corners, again I don't know any of these else, in a last 5 corner algorithm. So the recognition isn't brilliant for that, but I think it could get quite good, because all you have to do is you have to look at the orientation of the pieces. Well, firstly, place the delay corner, so for me white, in back left. Okay, place it there. Then you look at the orientation of these 3 corners and the permutation of them. So here I see it's this case with those 2 are adjacent and those 2 are opposite. That means it's the normal 2-gen insert. Ignore that edge piece. It's the normal 2-gen insert. So now I have solved all the corners. That was the best case because it's just are you prime or prime. But you get the idea. So solve all the corners, and then you have last 6 edges per unit, which is decent. I'm not certain because I'm going through the algs now, check them and optimize them, but it seems to be quite good. And then you solve the last 6 edges. That should average around 46 moves, which is very good. It's equal to roux. And I'm not sure about the TPS either, but this is completely subjective, but I feel like it has a lot of potential. There are also CFOF extensions such as ZB or Zipper, if you've heard of it, which could also be very good, but I don't know, no one really knows about a lot of them. Although I'd say that anything that averages, I shouldn't say this because it has no relevance, but ZB or Water Easy or Zipper or anything that's around 46-7 moves like roux, they're probably the best, although ZZ and CFOP have very high TPS like standard ZZ, as I've shown, which mean that they are a lot more viable, although ZZ, in my opinion, is more viable than CFOP without one or less layer, because it's got same DPS, less turns. So, to conclude, ZZ is better than CFOP because it's got same DPS, high turns. And what's next? Yeah, so if you don't think that XEO Cross is possibly an extension, I disagree, because I'll give me some time and I'll try to be doing it as consistently as possible. That's what I'm working on at the moment over Water's Easy. And then, now, in comparison to Row, it's harder to do because it's just a different method, basically. Although you could argue that Rue is ZZ, Eoline last, ZZ goes and look it up. But let's use the numbers that Kian used for his Root versus ZZ by using his ZZ numbers. So, firstly, I think you can say that a very good person with ZBLL can subdue ZBLL. So let's say 2 for ZBLL. Wait. I'll just put X EOC. F2L, actually, left block, right block, and ZBLL. So time, that would be 2. That would be about 0.7 because you're only solving 1 pair, not 2, and it's very good ergonomics. This would be about 1.4, and this would be, yeah, about 1.4. I think that's decent because you're doing 2 pairs of RU. And then let's say XE across is 2. Some people might disagree. I'd probably say it's more like 2.1, but maths, it makes it easier. So with these numbers, that equals 6.1. Actually, no, I'd say that right block's more like 1.3. I'm just saying that ZZ is better, trying to shoehorn it in, but genuinely, right blocks. Like, what did I write here? I said 1.2 on my notes, so let's say 1.3. Yeah, this is kind of ad lib. So that gives it 6, and like two pairs of RU is very good. Like if you got that in any method, so CFOP, Ru, ZZ, you'd have a good case, and you'd be able to spam TPS on it. So I think that's fair. That's quite fair because 0.7 per pair is, I think it's what people say anyway. So for CFOP, no, yeah, let's just go with that. And then XE across 2 seconds. Kian said about 1.2 for Eoline. So if you're doing that, you're adding in 3 more pieces and saying you're giving another 0.8 seconds for 3 pieces. That's quite generous. So I think that these numbers show that ZZ is actually better than what Kian said if you do it properly. So, yeah. Hope you enjoyed my ramble. It's been fun. Yeah, ZZ is actually very good. Don't listen. Well, you can listen to Jay if you want. Listen to me too. I've got the numbers. If you don't agree with me, write a comment. If you do agree with me, write a comment. Yeah. Switch to ZZ, guys, if you want to learn ZBLL. If you don't want to learn how, switch to Ru. Or if you want to be bad, switch to CFOP because it sucks. No, I'm joking. CFOP's alright, especially with like ZB and stuff, but by itself, it's not that good. Yeah. Goodbye.